Thank you, Colin. Much appreciated. Just a bit of housekeeping. We're very, very fortunate this evening to have access to our captain, Ollie Bozanic, who's very kindly given up some time for us to have a chat with fans this evening. So we are very, very grateful to you, Ollie. We appreciate you guys. Have plenty on your plate. So we thank you for taking some time out to spend some time and have a chat with us, and hopefully everybody will really enjoy the content this evening. So we'll try not to keep it too dry, and we'll try not to keep you for too long. So I'm sure you want to get back to your lovely family for the rest of the evening, but we appreciate the time you've given us this evening, and welcome to our first video chat session.
Great, thanks guys. Thanks for having me on. I'm looking forward to it, and yeah, let's have a bit of fun.
Indeed. So we've got a few questions for you, and so hopefully none of them will be too difficult to answer, and be as honest as you can. We appreciate the ability to talk to you guys and be very much connected with the club in that sense. And the first question I've got for you, Ollie, is has your return to CCM been what you expected it to be?
Yeah, well, obviously returning before the end of last season, and seeing what the last few seasons before, watching from overseas, and obviously always following the club throughout my time away. I definitely knew coming to the club it was going to be a massive challenge to bring us back to that top part of the table. I did have every ambition and goal to reach what we did last season. I did think we could have gone even further, almost, all the way. But unfortunately, towards the end, that when it comes to playoff games as well, that was the way it ended really for us last season. But it has been definitely a very very fun and good time since being back again.
Did you feel that as I say, I'm sure every professional footballer believes in their own ability and their drive to do to achieve good things every season. But did last season surprise you in some aspects, Ollie, or did you get the sense in pre-season that we were very much had a very united group and very committed to the cause and that good things were possible?
I definitely had the the feeling that we could achieve something special last season at the very beginning. But things can change very quickly in football, and we definitely had the right mentality, and without that we wouldn't have been able to achieve what we did last season. We started extremely well, and we carried on with that form all the way pretty much throughout the whole season, bar a few hiccups. So yeah, in a way I wouldn't say expecting what we did, but I was positive and I believed in what we were able to do.
I think belief is such a big part of any sporting endeavour, isn't it? So if you believe in success and you aim for success, then obviously that's a big part of achieving success. So I think we were all, I think, not surprised as fans, pleasantly surprised. But that first couple of games, I can remember personally the excitement starting to build really from round 2 at MacArthur, where we went there and nobody gave us much of a chance, as they have to do most seasons, and we came away with the chockies. So at that point I started to feel that I sensed I think the positivity on the pitch personally as a fan. And I think to go on from strength to strength, there was just really a dream for all of us. So we thank you for those excellent memories last season, and we look forward to more of the same this year.
Yeah.
What did you miss most while you were overseas? Were there some things or nothing, or what was your feeling about being overseas? I'm sure it was a great adventure for you, and
yeah,
obviously that's what all Australians, a lot of them, or many Australian players aspire to. But what were the things that you particularly missed, Ollie?
Well, I'd say particularly the Central Coast as well, being such a great place to live. I definitely missed that. The good lifestyle, the beach, and now having a young family as well, being able to raise them in such a good area. It was very nice to have that connection again back to where I'm from, with my family as well.
Because you're a lifelong coastie, and I believe Avoca Junior. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you've got a very long. I think we're all very blessed to live on this beautiful part of the world, and certainly. The Mariners has been a personal part of my journey, having arrived the month that the A-League started. So it seemed to be the perfect fit for me personally, and I'm really pleased to say that we've had more ups than downs despite the club's fortunes in recent years. So having you come back was a massive plus for all of us fans, and the likes of Matt Simon coming back as well. It's fantastic to see some of our old players coming back to the club, and I think it always hurts when you see a very popular player go to another A-League club and end up playing against you. So it's been a big part of the turnaround of the success, I believe, Ollie.
Yeah, definitely. I think the players that have moved away, have wanted to come back to the club as well, or definitely miss this part of Australia. It's a great place to live, and I think that's a huge draw card for players coming to this club as well. That it is, a great place to live. And, we have to really, as a club, and really look at those things that really bring in those types of players that look for that as well.
Well, I certainly think, in the last 18 months or so, the foundations have been laid for a lot more positivity around players coming to the club. It's not just results, but I think, the way that the club has been set up and the achievements that it's making both on and off the field certainly won't be a hindrance to players coming back to the club, you'd hope. But what are your expectations for the team this season, Ollie? Based, given what we've said about last season, what would you consider to be a pass mark for this season?
I think it's not so much about setting like coming out here and saying like this is exactly what we're going for. Things happen during the season that is out of everyone's control. But I think it's about having the right mentality as we had last season. We didn't start this, we had our end goals, which we wanted to achieve, but it was really going into every game and taking it one game at a time and saying, yes, we're going into this game. It doesn't matter who we're playing. We have the mentality, we're going in to beat this team. And that's how we really built that foundation last season of that success, winning game after game, not thinking too far into the future. Our next opponent is really our only opponent. And I really want to have that mentality again, where we can achieve great things. Come into the season, I want to be able to sit here again and say, this is where we've reached, and we've done a fantastic job. But it all comes at game by game.
Is it difficult to manage the pressure of expectation when the team, I suppose, to a degree, exceeds many of the pundits' expectations for it? Is it difficult to manage that internally, or is it fairly, you're all on the same page and it all kind of happens organically?
You just have to block all that out. Like really, once we're in our team environment, just to give you the insight on it, it's like in our camp, we focus really on what we want to achieve, and we don't listen to outside influences that might have a good opinion or a bad opinion of us. We really focus in on what we need to do to perform. And we have, again, this season, we have a really close team and a coaching staff that also want to deliver that.
Yeah, it does seem, again, a very united group. I mean, obviously, keeping the core of last team together helps with that, I guess. Do you feel the dynamic of the team has changed much with the change of manager?
Yeah, I think it has. I think it has changed. With every manager that comes in, or when a player goes to a new club, it does have has a change on the team and the way it is. But everything going forward now has been really impressive this season under the new coaching staff, and we're looking forward to another big season.
Well, I think there's no question that Monty knows what it takes to succeed at the highest levels. So I would imagine he sets fairly high standards for the group, and that there's no questioning his credentials as a player. So I think we have a lot of faith in Nick doing a good job going forward, and notwithstanding that there's always going to be challenges around being one of the smallest teams in the league. What were your thoughts on the first 3 games so far this season, Ollie, that you might be able to share with us, just starting with the FFA Cup game in Mudgee?
Yeah, starting with the cup game, the cup games are always difficult. It doesn't, regardless of if they're A-League or, a state league team or whatever it is, NPL team, it's always a difficult game. You know, they're basically playing for their biggest game of their career against the A-League team, so they always make it difficult. You know, I thought in that first game we dominated, and we could have scored earlier on, which would have completely closed the game out straight away, and then we would have gone on to, you know, score more. But that's just the way football is. You know, as you're well aware of, you know, from the UK, there's games where the, you know, lower division teams will also put up a good fight against a top division team, and you know, it'll take until the 60, 70, 80th, sometimes right into the 80th minute until they find the winner. So that's football, and that's why we love it as well, because you know, at the end of the day, it's 11v11 on the pitch, and we have to find a way to win, and that's for both teams. And then moving on to Newcastle, I think, you know, we had a really great start to the season with our first game and first win away, especially in Newcastle. I think that's you know, talking about history, it's another step forward where we've won consecutive games in Newcastle for the first time in history, I believe. So that's you know, another good thing to have and to move forward. I thought we played well against Newcastle. Those games are always a real battle. It's a derby, and you know, with expectations of the derby, you know, you're going there to win. You don't ever want to draw or lose. So, you know, that was really impressive first game, especially with such also some young players on debut, and obviously Farrell scoring his first goal for the club on debut as well was very impressive. Nizzy getting his first goal as well. So it was a great first game, and then heading into Wellington down in Wollongong. I thought, you know, this game was very, you know, frustrating for us. I still believe that we should have won the game. We played some very good football. We created chances, and unfortunately, we just conceded 2 goals that were, in my opinion, very unlike us. So it's things that we can definitely fix quickly in terms of conceding goals. And, you know, we really want to continue having that strong mentality of defending well in every single game.
I think
from just every opportunity to then go on to win the game.
Indeed, yeah. I think from a fan's perspective, the Newcastle and Wellington games felt very much almost mirror images of each other, where in Newcastle we were kind of hanging on for the last 15, 20 minutes to a 2-1 lead. Yep. And then on Saturday, Wellington did much the same to us, and we basically bombarded them and just couldn't find that moment where we could pinch at least an equaliser to take something out of the game. But I think it's also fair, you know, that for the people to recognise that the club has yet to be able to put its strongest part, arguably its strongest team on the park as yet. So, you know, the signs are definitely positive, you know, moving forward. What do you think that the FFA Cup game on Wednesday night will be like, Ollie? And do you expect to see many changes in terms of the lineup, given that we've got 3 games in 8 days or 7 days?
You know, once again, it's going to be a tough game. They're as I said, they're playing for, you know, some of these players will be the biggest game of their career to play in. It's a chance for all these smaller teams to do well. So it's not going to be an easy game, and we understand that. And it's about focusing on what we need to do to win the game, go down there again and put in a good performance. I don't see too many changes happening with the team. There might be a few here and there, but I can't really say at this moment, or I don't really know at this moment. That's up to the manager to decide.
It might be nice if the weather improved a little bit Wednesday night after the first 3 games, mightn't it?
Yeah. Well, it's been nice to play in some cooler weather. So especially with our 4 and 5 o'clock kickoffs.
Yeah, it's just the wind I'm thinking of. You've had to deal with some pretty windy conditions the last few games, so I guess, you know, it does have an impact. We all know that even from the amateur level, it has an impact on your ability to play the game you want to play. So let's hope you have slightly better conditions on Wednesday evening back down there in the Gong. Thinking about pre-season this year and notwithstanding the performances of some last year, what players do you expect to shine in this campaign? Is there anyone that's or any individuals that have particularly stood out to you?
I think, you know, as it was last season as well, there was a lot of players that stood out during the course of the whole season, and I feel like that will happen again this season. You know, obviously some new players coming in, and Farrell's already impressed, I think, from the very beginning. Maxi coming in midfield with me, and then Rolsey, RT. You can go through the whole team, and I think they're all going to have a huge part to play in this season, and everyone will have their moment to shine and to really put in performances.
I think there's always greater prospects of success when you have a collective working together rather than outstanding individuals. But I guess we're all excited to see what some of these new players can bring, and also seeing some of the existing players going on to even bigger and better things. So we look forward to that in anticipation. Who would you say is the biggest joker in the team, or the best or worst roommate? Oof. And is there anyone that's particularly always late to training?
Oh, it's all Lewis Miller is always late or being fined for something. So he's definitely up there. I think he had a couple today even. So yeah, there you go. That probably answers that one straight away. Jokester. There's a few that have a bit of banter. I think Nizzy loves to have a little bit of a joke about as well. So yeah, he's a good one also.
I guess there's no one in the Danny McBreen territory though.
Oh. Yeah. He was definitely a character.
Who would you say influenced your view of football, or your desire to be a footballer when you were younger and growing up?
Yeah, definitely. My dad, he was a past player, Socceroo. So he had a huge influence on my younger years. Growing up, playing, practicing, teaching me a lot of things. So I'd probably say him definitely in my younger years.
I guess that the old adage of you should never meet your heroes wouldn't apply when it's your
father. That's it.
Was there anyone who played? Sorry, go on, Ollie. Sorry, I thought
that was it. Yeah.
Was there anyone you played against in Europe that you were a fan of, or perhaps was an idol of yours before you played them?
I played with and against some some good players. Yeah, quite a few. Like there was, with Australia as well. I was fortunate enough to play against Spain and Holland. So there was some big players that were playing in the World Cups for them. I also played with Stephen Naismith from when I was in Hearts, who was a fantastic player in the Premier League as well. So there's been some good players, and in general I've just enjoyed having that opportunity to play in Europe and play against some of the big massive teams in Europe, playing with players like that, and really trying to establish myself in Europe.
As I say, it's most Australian players, dream to go and play in an overseas league, particularly in a top European league, and you're amongst the few that have done that. And but nonetheless, we're still grateful to have you back. What's your view on VAR in its inclusion or otherwise in our league moving forward? I think in addition to that, have you seen a difference in the way VAR is being applied this year to last year?
We haven't actually had any meetings like we did last season about VAR with the referees. We haven't had any going into this season, so we actually don't know if anything has changed from last season. I think there was definitely issues because we were the ones copying it last season in terms of especially the Adelaide game where we've had some very bad decisions go against us due to VAR. So we just I guess this is decisions of above us, so we just have to play on. I'd like to see it either be corrected and it's pretty much spot on every time, but that's also a process to get to that.
Yeah, indeed. I think VAR has certainly had its teething troubles, certainly in the A League, and it does seem that there's been maybe a tweaking of it. The decision process isn't taking quite as long in most instances, but I guess we'll still be a suck it and see for another season at least. Another question here from one of our members. Do you intend to extend your stay at the Mariners beyond this season, or is that beyond your control, perhaps?
Yeah, no, look, I've made it clear that I'm very happy here at the Central Coast, and this is my community as well. But in terms of thinking too far into the future, my aim is to to really narrow in on this season, and then hopefully obviously have that sorted, but something that happens in the background and can be done quickly.
Indeed. Well, I think when there's a meeting of minds, then that makes the negotiations hopefully a lot more straightforward. And what are your future plans for yourself when you end your playing career? Not that we're expecting that to happen anytime soon, but have you thought beyond football, or whether you'll stay involved, perhaps moving to coaching like Monty, or
yeah,
do you have any thoughts in that regard?
Yeah, I think obviously I still want to play for many years to come. But yeah, I think I can see myself moving into some kind of role within the club and within football. So I would love to keep that option open. Finish off my coaching badges and see where that takes me after.
Are you currently studying any of your coaching badges, Ollie?
I was about to, actually, when I was in Scotland, but something small got in the way. I think it's called coronavirus.
Yes.
that got in the way of that. So I'll look to finish and complete those when we can here. Obviously, I tried to do it this season as well, but it was the same issue. So when I can get around to completing those badges, I'll definitely get onto them.
Right. Well, hopefully Nick will have some notes you can crib from.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, that's all of the questions I have on my list here. So I'll throw it back to you, Colin, to ask if there's any questions come from the floor while we've been talking. I've seen a few pop up, so if you'd like to ask those questions of Ollie.
Yeah, we've got 3 that have come from the chat channel. The first one is, have you got any game day superstitions?
Game day superstitions. I like to keep it, pretty routine in terms of my preparation, like going as far back as the day before, finish training. I normally end up after training going to have some cryotherapy, which is a freezing cold room that probably most people wouldn't attempt. But helps the recovery process. Followed by this pretty much the same dinner, and then into the next day I'll go for have breakfast, go for a walk, coffee down at Terrigal. Some people might see me down there on game day. Just have a bit of a relaxing morning with my family, and then back home, relax, rest up for the game, and then actually, I've got three little bracelets that I always wear, which are made by my daughters, which I always have on. Give them some kisses before going off to play the game.
I think the closest most of us have come to a cryo room, Ollie, would probably be the beer Coke cooler in the bottle.
Yeah, that's probably true.
The second one is maybe somewhat similar to one of the previous questions, and that is do you think that the change of manager that will do the same or better than last year?
Monty's been at the club for a very long time, and I feel that he's had a lot of time to prepare how he wants to play, and we've prepared really well in the preseason. Everything looks very good, very promising. But as I said before, in football, you never know. Right now we have 3 injuries, which doesn't help out of the starting 11. We just need to prepare the best we can every single game. I feel that the coaching staff are giving everything to prepare us every week, and I think they'll do everything they can to be successful at this club.
Of the injured players, Ollie, who do you think is likely to return sooner rather than later? Is that all still a bit unclear?
Still a bit unclear, but I think Benny will be back very soon, and also Nico as well, who's not far off at all. hopefully back. Yeah, hopefully back very soon. Which I'm excited to have Nico back. He's a very exciting player who has missed a bit of football with his injury so far this season. But I think he's one player that will definitely excite our fans and be a huge asset to the club.
And the last one is, it's a two-part question. If you did not play football, what would you be doing to earn a crust? And the second part is, are there any teammates that you would like to work with you in that field?
If I wasn't, it really, I've had this question a few times before, and it's a tough question for me to ask, because as a kid, that's the only dream I had. There was nothing else for me. I've just lived it. I've just lived it my whole life. I think I would be still involved in some kind of something in sport. I'd still want to be in football. I don't know exactly what that would be, but just from a young age, it's always been my dream. So I couldn't give you an exact job description.
I think that's probably true of a lot of sports people, to be honest, Ollie, because in order to be, to reach the elite levels, you've got to give so much of yourself to that process, I think. And, it's probably difficult to focus on anything outside of that. I mean, there are a few exceptions, of course. So I believe Shaka Hislop is actually a rocket scientist. And I believe Zach Anderson's got a law degree. So there are a few people that manage to juggle the two. But I think, that the reality is it demands so much of you as an individual that it's difficult to cultivate a plan B if you really want to, make the best of your career.
Yeah, that's it. Like, from a very, very young age, I've been working hard. I've missed a lot of fun as a child in terms of what, every average individual in terms of my peers would do growing up. I missed a lot of that in the pursuit to reach my goals and my dreams. So it's not like it starts, you've got young players coming through at 18 now. It's not like they decided at 17, or when I was that age, I didn't decide at 16 that I wanted to be a footballer. It started from being, at a very young age that this is the path that I want to choose. And, it means working hard for it, training before school, training after school, traveling to Sydney 4 times a week to train for a team that would help me develop into a better player than at the time. That was the opportunities I had and had to chase. So there's a lot of work that goes into it. It's not just 18, 19 decide to be a professional athlete, and it goes back a lot further than that.
What age were you when you effectively came into the professional domain in sport, though, Ollie?
When I was 15, 16, I had a trial overseas at Reading, where I ended up later on, 3 years later, I think it was. I was meant to sign there at 15, but I had some issues, like leaving the country to live there. So once that was sorted, I was able to go when I was 18. But before that, that was when I had my very first stint with the Central Coast Mariners with Laurie McKenna, who looked after me, and I was training with the team for a while there, and had my first taste of first team experience back then.
I think you were at Reading at the same time as my nephew, strangely enough.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, some time ago now, but yeah. Well, look, I think that may well be all of the questions, Colin. Is that the case?
No, one more just come in.
Oh, okay.
Have you ever had any unusual requests from fans, in brackets, other than tonight?
Unusual. Yeah, there's been a few over the years. Probably some I can't discuss online. But no, I've been actually in Japan. They're very they gift a lot as their culture, and I had people that would when I was playing there that would come to the ground every single training session to gift me something, and the same person would gift me something pretty much every day the whole time I was there. So yeah, there's a lot of commitment over there if they like someone.
Must have been a very interesting experience, Japan, I imagine, Ollie.
Yeah, it was a fun experience. I really enjoyed it. It's a very strong league to play in as well, and in a nice place to live as well. You learn something on your footballing journey from, especially I've been fortunate enough to be in quite a few countries where I can take something from there and try to bring it into my game.
Indeed. Well, I think we've taken up enough of your time for the evening, Ollie. We really very much appreciate you coming on to talk to us, and we hope that you have a great season, stay injury free, and achieve everything you want to this season with the Central Coast Mariners. And we look forward to seeing you in action again on Wednesday night. I will be there in Wollongong personally, so I'll make sure I say hi to you when you finish up. But best of luck.
No, thank you very much, guys. I'd just like to also thank all our fans and our supporters for their dedication to the club. You guys make it what it is. It's important that we recognize that, and we're proud to represent our community and our fans, and we're looking forward to a huge season, and everything you guys can do to bring in a huge turnout for our first game of the season would be much appreciated. It gives us a huge lift, and we're looking forward to it.
Well, right back at you. We appreciate all you do to represent our beautiful region and part of the world. So, as I say, best of luck, and we look forward to seeing more from all of you in the coming season.
Cheers. Thanks, guys.
Thanks a lot, Ollie.